Hello, my name is Tony Dong. 24 Democrats get behind bill to lay foundation for removing Trump for being mentally incapacitated, but they'd need Mike Pence to agree. 25th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution allows Congress to set up a medical commission that could determine if a president is fit for office. The president's cabinet is also allowed to serve that purpose, but Congress has never established its own group to participate. Either panel would require the vice president to agree before Congress could vote to remove the president. A Maryland Democratic congressman is trying to set up a commission to target President Trump, tweeting, "Trump's mental incapacity is no laughing matter." Plan has only attracted Democratic co-sponsors so far. Senate that passed 25th Amendment agreed inability means a mental debility rendering a president unable or unwilling to make any rational decision. A Democratic congressman has proposed convening a special committee of psychiatrists and other doctors whose job would be to determine if President Donald Trump is fit to serve in the Oval Office. Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin, who also teaches constitutional law at American University, has predictably failed to attract any Republicans to his banner. But the U.S. Constitution's 25th Amendment does allow for a majority of the president's cabinet, or such other body as Congress may by law provide, to decide if an Oval Office occupant is unable to carry out his duties, and then to put it to a full congressional vote. Vice President Mike Pence would also have to agree, which could slow down the process or speed it up if he wanted the levers of power for himself. The 25th Amendment has been around since shortly after the John F. Kennedy assassination, but Congress has never formed its own committee in case it's needed to judge a president's mental health. Maryland Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin has a plan that would allow Congress to name a commission with the power to determine if President Donald Trump is mentally ill to hold office. Trump, shown leaving Washington on Friday with First Lady Melania and their son Barron, could be removed from office at the end of a long process, but only if he were unable to make or communicate his decisions to Congress and his cabinet. Raskin's bill would allow the 4 Republican and Democratic leaders of the House and Senate to each choose a psychiatrist and another doctor. Then each party would add a former statesman, like a retired president or vice president. The final group of 10 would meet and choose an 11th member, who would become the committee's chairman. Once the group is officially seated, the House and Senate could direct it through a joint resolution to conduct an actual examination of the president to determine whether the president is incapacitated, either mentally or physically, according to the Raskin bill. And if the president refuses to participate, the bill dictates that shall be taken into consideration by the commission in reaching a conclusion. Under the 25th Amendment, such a committee or the president's cabinet can notify Congress in writing that a sitting president is unfit. In either case, the vice president must concur, and he would immediately become acting president. Presidents have voluntarily transferred their powers to vice presidents in the past, including when they are put under anesthesia for medical procedures. Raskin, a constitutional law professor as well as a legislator, has made no bones about the fact that his House bill is an attack on Trump. Specifically, in the case of Raskin's plan, the Constitution holds that both houses of Congress would hold a vote within 3 weeks. If 2/3 majorities in the House and Senate agreed that the president could then discharge his duties, he would be dismissed. Raskin's plan could have a fatal flaw. However, legal scholars tend to agree that when the Constitution's framers first provided for the replacement of a president with an inability to discharge the powers and duties of the office, they weren't talking about mere eccentricities. And when the 25th Amendment was sent to the states for ratification in 1965, the Senate agreed that inability meant that a president was unable to make or communicate his decisions and suffered from a mental debility rendering him unable to make any rational decision. So far, 24 members of the House, all Democrats, have signed on to co-sponsor the bill. Texas Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, a far-left liberal Democrat, claimed Friday, in a Fox Business Channel interview, that Congress can remove incompetent presidents. The 25th Amendment is utilized when a president is perceived to be incompetent or unable to do his or her job, she said. According to the 25th Amendment, whether it's the cabinet or a congressional commission that might decide Trump is unfit to serve, Vice President Mike Pence must agree, or the process stops dead in its tracks. Raskin has made no bones about the fact that his intentions are specific to President Trump. Trump's mental incapacity is no laughing matter, he tweeted last month. 25 THAMENDMENT NT gives us a way to deal with this problem. Raskin summed up his reasoning for Yahoo News on Friday. In case of emergency, break glass. I assume every human being is allowed one or two errant and seemingly deranged tweets, he said. The question is whether you have a sustained pattern of behavior that indicates something is seriously wrong. MSNBC co-hosts Joe Scarborough and Micah Brzezinski authored an op-ed in the Washington Post, whose headline argued Donald Trump is not well. The pair were responding to a widely criticized tweet in which Trump complained about their behavior around the new year, and alleged that Brzezinski was bleeding from a bad facelift. During a press conference on Thursday, Raskin called Trump a barbarian, and said something is deeply wrong at the White House. He called on whoever is in control over there to pull back from this terrible situation. Thank you for watching. For the follow-up, subscribe to the channel yourself here.
Has to stop. We all have a job. N-3 branches of government and media. We don't have to get along, but we must show respect and civility. Sen. Lisa Murkowski, Alaska, another skeptic of the GOP health bill, tweeted, "Stop it. The presidential platform should be used for more than bringing people down." Conservative commentator Laura Ingraham sent out a tweet chastising the White House's message discipline today. All Combs coming out at WHSHDB focused on Kate's Law and no sanctuary for criminals act, not cable TV hosts. GOP strategist Rick Tyler, a former communications aide to Texas Sen. Ted Cruz's White House bid, told Politico that Trump's tweets have zero benefit and criticized the administration's defense of them as childish. Republicans will arrive at the 2018 elections with absolutely no accomplishments and nothing to run on, Tyler said. In order to effect large-scale public policy change through legislation, you have to have a communication strategy to convince the country that the direction you're going is somewhere they'd like to go. While Trump's attack on Thursday morning provoked a big response, the Morning Joe hosts have a notorious love-hate relationship with the president. During the 2016 campaign, Trump was a frequent calling guest to the show and as recently as March retained Joe Scarborough's advice on matters before addressing Congress. But the MSNBC show has also faced criticism for being too cozy with the administration. In a Vanity Fair report from May on the co-host's recent engagement, the couple acknowledged meeting with the president more than a week after his inauguration, where Trump reportedly suggested they have their wedding at Mar-a-Lago or the White House. According to Scarborough, Trump even suggested he could be the one to marry them. Scarborough and Brzezinski have since become increasingly critical of the president, and Trump has repeatedly attacked them on Twitter, but Thursday's messages marked a new low. Brzezinski responded to Trump shortly after his tweets on Thursday with her own post of a Cheerios box detailing a child and the slogan "Made for Little Hands," a seemingly pointed reference to the campaign trail during which Trump's hand size was often targeted. MSNBC, meanwhile, was direct and unsparing in its criticism. It's a sad day for America when the president spends his time bullying, lying and spewing petty personal attacks instead of doing his job, an MSNBC spokesperson said, echoing a similar sentiment from the organization's spokesman Mark Kornbly, who tweeted that he never imagined. I would think to myself, it is beneath my dignity to respond to the President of the United States. It was not immediately clear what specific comments set off the Twitter attacks this morning, but Brzezinski did hit the president this morning on lying and destroying the country. Nothing makes a man feel better than making a fake cover of a magazine about himself, lying every day and destroying the country, Brzezinski said in reference to a Washington Post report that alleges a fabricated Time magazine cover photo featuring Trump is hanging in at least 5 of his golf clubs. Also, on Tuesday's episode of Morning Joe, Brzezinski and Scarborough went back and forth on Trump's hand size and his onslaught of media-focused tweets of late. "That's a very small person," Brzezinski said. I work in cable news and I can't tell you that's sad, pathetic. Think bigger, Scarborough countered, adding that while the worst healthcare strategy ever rages, Trump's talking about the media. Keep on being small, Brzezinski said. Tiny. That's the word, Scarborough corrected. On the campaign trail, the president was often criticized for his treatment of women, most notably after the infamous Access Hollywood tape in which Trump can be heard bragging about sexually assaulting women. And in a bizarre moment on Tuesday, while on the phone with Ireland's new Prime Minister, Trump called forward an Irish journalist to comment on her smile. Despite the furore around his tweets on Thursday, Trump did get some support outside of the White House. Fox News primetime host and frequent Trump defender Sean Hannity tweeted various links to Morning Joe-related coverage. Maybe liberal Joe should stop calling the POTUS a schmuck, a liar, a thug and mentally unhinged. Were they kissing POTUS acid Xmas? Yes, he tweeted. Sen. Richard Shelby Arala also appeared to defend the president, noting that he's dealing with an adversarial news media. The media is salting him every day, Shelby said. I guess he's fighting back. Other lawmakers, however, said they were trying to tune it out. Sen. Ron Johnson R-Wise said he didn't want to talk about the president's tweets because he's trying to stay positive. If you don't have something nice to say nothing at all, Johnson said. The American people need us to be focused on health care and tax reform, not Twitter fights and cable news, Sen. Tim Scott RSC said on Twitter. Former Florida Gov. Jeb Bush, who unsuccessfully ran for president in 2016, summarized Trump's comments in 3 words: inappropriate, undignified, unpresidential. Thursday morning's tweet storm also fits into Trump's recently stepped-up crusade against the media, in which he has targeted other outlets that he believes are publishing unfair coverage of his administration. Trump attacked the Washington Post on Wednesday, complaining that the fake news newspaper was protecting Amazon from tax liabilities with its coverage. Representatives for Brzezinski and Scarborough did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Hadders Gold, Ilana Shah, Kyle Cheney, Austin Wright, Heather Cagle and Diamond Nagasia contributed to this report. Thank you for watching. For the follow-up, subscribe to the channel yourself here.